We're doing this again. We are live with Anna Downs on Bellwether Hub. Thank you for joining. We had some technical difficulties before, but we are back and everything's going to be fantastic. Anna is here to talk to us about video and marketing. We're going to talk about the future of video and marketing because this is really important, especially for the clients that I have and people who listen to the podcast from an entrepreneurial perspective. Everybody wants to know, video is table stakes. We have to do video with everything that we're doing, whether from any type of marketing aspect or anything else. But a lot of the marketing agencies I work with or marketing departments within companies use agencies and they're looking for better solutions or at least something that could showcase the ROI in a better way. So now that I know audio is working for both of us, I'd like to very happily introduce Anna Downs, CEO and co-founder of Video Sherpa. She's going to talk to us today about how to actually differentiate with video, how to use video, and where the future of all this video and marketing and all that good stuff is going to go. This is going to be a valuable little conversation. So, Anna, welcome. Please tell us about you and what you do and all that good stuff.
Great. Thanks a million for having me, Jim. So yes, greetings from a very wet west of Ireland, evening time for me here. So yeah, I am the co-founder of Video Sherpa, and Video Sherpa was born from a very simple idea. Our background is in communications and video production. So we would have been one of those agencies that you hire to come in and work with your team to create some video content, either for sales purposes, training, marketing, whatever the case may be. And going back, I'm going back now 5 or 6 years, we could see that the trends were for companies needing ever more video content all the time. People, it was starting to move away from I need a video on my website to I need a video for this. We're having an event. I want some video training. And it was starting to ramp up. And yet people's budgets weren't able to stretch to having somebody come in and create that content for them. So there was a disconnect between the need for content, especially as the number of social channels started to grow and people needed to have different content on different channels or for different audiences. And yet they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to make as much as they wanted. And that's where we sit. We sit there in the middle. So we kind of took our knowledge and our expertise around making video and making effective video communications and translated that into a very, very user-friendly platform that anyone can use. And it really holds their hand. It takes them step by step through the process of actually filming their own original content, easily putting it together with branding and music and voiceover and so on, and then getting it out there as quickly and as effortlessly as possible.
Because it's a big project.
It is.
Video is big, right? There's the pressure of making good video, and then you have to have somebody edit it, and it's extremely expensive, like you said. And people don't have the money for all of that, but you have to have video everywhere. So where do you begin? I mean, do you just start by just creating any kind of video and putting it out? Where would you kind of start that conversation?
So I would say you begin with your audience. You begin with who are you trying to reach? Who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to tell them? And where do they live? Where do they consume content? So that's where you start. There's absolutely no point putting loads of time and resources into creating video that no one's going to watch. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes in, because people kind of feel, like you said, oh, we need video, and we need video for, our Twitter feed, and we need video for our website, and we need something else for Instagram and LinkedIn and da da da. And they get into this panic of production, whereas they need to kind of get out of their own way and just focus on the message and the audience. So first of all, I would say, like in anything we do with sales and marketing, we need to segment our audience. Mm-hmm. Because video is most effective when the message is incredibly direct at a specific audience group. And our experience is that creating smaller pieces of video content that have very targeted audiences and a very small number of messages, that's much more effective than trying to create these sort of catch-all promo videos where you're trying to speak to everybody. And as we know, a lot of the time that falls flat in its face and you end up not really resonating with anyone in particular. People are kind of struggling to find themselves in your message. So creating a series of short form videos, each one targeted directly at a particular segment of your overall audience, that's much more effective. It's actually much easier for you to do as well.
So a lot of the work before video And the reason I'm asking these questions is because there's so much bad video out there. And that's purely my judgmental kind of view where, people just aren't, I'm just scrolling through because I know it's not going to be a good video. I feel like the preparation aspect, like most marketing, most communications, the preparation aspect really isn't there for most people when they don't really segment. They say, who's your audience? Oh, I can work for anybody, or I can communicate to anybody. And how much work, how do you segment for video? And how do you think about the way that people will consume it based on your individual audiences? Can you give some kind of overview on just kind of just from a segmentation perspective? We won't get into like crazy stuff, but segmenting for video sounds like it might be a little different than just regular marketing segmentation. What do you think about that?
I don't really think it is. I think people get hung up on video as being this kind of very alien, other big task and big thing. And really, if like every piece of marketing, it needs to start with, well, who do I want to speak to? Because video is considered hard, people kind of feel, well, I need to make a video that's going to speak to loads of people because, it's going to take me a lot of time. It's going to cost me money. So therefore, it's got to work for everything. But actually, you wouldn't write a blog post that was so generic that you hoped it would speak to everybody. So why would you create a video that was equally generic and too broad based? It's much better to do something that's short, that has 3 to 5 key messages aimed at a very specific niche audience. What you can do then, in terms of being clever about the resources and the time and the effort that you're putting into it, is by planning out, let's say you want to create 5 different videos for 5 of your key target segments. Well, you're going to be able to repurpose an awful lot of your content. You're going to be able to reuse a lot of the same footage in those videos, but each one has been crafted with a particular audience with very specific messaging in mind and a specific call to action. And the language that you're using is going to resonate very directly with those people. So I think it really does, in the same way that, you wouldn't create sort of a Facebook ad campaign that was trying to target like doctors and lawyers and school teachers and high school students all in the one ad. It just wouldn't work for anybody. And I think we just have to take the same approach with our videos. But it's about kind of trying to get out of our own way, because there's this perception that it's so hard. And because it's hard, you need to make it work really, really hard for you. And it has to try and reach everybody. And that's just not going to work. So much better off to kind of break it down.
I think that's a good it's a good point on just the reusing of video, but catering it to specific. I mean, that's how your ROI gets stretched a little bit. Just one simple video can be used 50 different ways. Let's talk about the effort versus return on video. Since everyone's doing video, since everyone from an organization to an entrepreneur to, crazy people like me are just putting out videos all of the time, to repurpose and the amount of effort that comes into it, how do you make it more easy, and how do you raise that return, and how do you measure return on a video?
Okay. About 4 questions in one there, Jim.
I've got a bunch, and I'll just let you just talk. That's great.
Okay. All right. So first things first. I'm a big believer in kind of planning your strategy for maybe 3 months to 6 months ahead. And when you do that and you decide, okay, I want to make a video, for these 5 different audiences, I know this segment, they love LinkedIn. I'm going to share that one on LinkedIn. So I can maybe make that one a slightly longer. Whereas this audience, they're Instagrammers all the way. I need to keep it nice and short. But what you're doing is you're able to kind of say, okay, what footage do I need? What is the actual visual material I'm going to film and be able to use? And how much of it can I actually use on multiple videos? And you'll find a lot of the time that you can reuse a huge percentage of the same content, but you're putting it together maybe with a different piece to camera, with different text overlays, with different calls to action. And you can have a very different look and a feel just by changing up your branding, your captions, your font size and color. It can have a completely different feel. The music is really, really important in terms of how your audience is going to perceive your videos. But the actual footage that you're using, most of the time you can reuse your footage 20 different ways, no problem at all. Because in the end of the day, your business is the same business. So if I'm let's say I've got a chain of hotels, and I'm trying to reach the wedding market. I'm trying to reach maybe families who are looking for, staycation apps. I'm trying to reach the corporate services market for events, booking meeting rooms, and so on. Obviously, the message to each of those subsections of my audience is very, very specific and very different. But I'm going to be able to use a lot of the hotel footage over and over again, and just in different ways, put together in different ways. So, in order to help you do that, you need to have control of your own content. This is a critical issue for people. And when you're outsourcing your video production all the time, you don't have access to the actual footage. So you might hire someone to make some videos, and you're going to say, okay, look, we're going to spend a day filming, and then I want you to be able to put those videos together in different ways. And these are the 5 or 6 videos that we're going to prioritize for the next few months. But going to be able to reuse all of this kind of common footage, like the foyer, the exteriors, if we get some drone footage, the common restaurant food. What are the things that are common to all of those videos? If you don't have access to that content to be able to repurpose it yourself, then you're going to constantly be spending more and more money to get it shot over and over and over again. And it's wasting time, it's wasting everybody's time. Whereas if you have access to that content, and if you have a digital asset manager where you can save it and easily bring it back into new videos, easily repurpose it, then that is going to save you a whole heap of time filming, time editing, time trying to find the footage from. Do you remember that stuff we shot 6 months ago? Where is it? Who's got it? That is just such just a poorly managed resource. Whereas that video footage is such valuable content for you as an organization. So having control of it, managing it, and being able to easily repurpose it is going to make your life so much easier. It becomes your own like private stock library, really.
I imagine Video Sherpa has all of the utility that you just spoke about. But
Of course.
when, of course. So it sounds like you could just eliminate the agency. If you were to hire one, person just to focus on video, depending on the scale of your operation,
Mm-hmm.
or just the entrepreneur who just says, you know what, every Friday for 2 hours, I'm just going to go back, look over old stuff, and repurpose it for the next week. You have this kind of capability where you've just created a platform for people to utilize so that video is constantly coming out. Do you have a cadence of what people should do? I know you said you plan 3 to 6 months in advance. How much video is too much video? Should you be doing quarterly? Does it depend on the situation? I guess it always does. How much is too much video, and how much can you really repurpose?
How much can you repurpose is an enormous amount. It really, really is. I think, but you have to do your planning in advance so that you are able to kind of forecast, okay, um, all of this footage I'm going to be able to reuse again. These 3 or 4 things, there may be one-off use cases, and we're going to have to shoot some new stuff. And then it can be kind of seasonal depending on your business. It can be around events, which again can have a shorter lifespan than some kind of evergreen content. So it really does vary a lot. What I would say is, there's multiple different ways of working it. So some people like to have, if you like, hero video, which is like the center of the wheel, and then they have all this hub content, which is like the spokes and the exterior. So your hero video might be, a really super glossy professional promo that might sit on the top banner of your website. And you want that, it's the first thing someone's going to see. It's going to sit there maybe for quite a long time, and you're going to invest and get an agency to create that with you. Absolutely fine. But the more regular content that you want to share, and the stuff that is going to provide you with fresh and conversation starters, and this is really important. I'll get back to this in a sec. But that kind of content, you need to be able to create easily, quickly, and to be able to respond to opportunities and moments as they arise. So, I said a while ago, we've moved away from this idea of, oh, I need a video. And now video is just a communication tool. It's not just a little tick, oh, I've that done and I don't need to think about it anymore. Most effective way that you can cut through the noise and reach your potential audience. And the thing is, your audience is doing their research online way before you ever hear of them or they ever actually pick up the phone or send you an email or sign up. So you have to have what I like to call digital breadcrumbs to be, for them to find, for you to be discovered, and then to sort of pull them down through the funnel so that there is information that is valuable, that is interesting, that is going to engage them and actually bring them step by step, so that they are convinced, actually, yeah, I want to work with these guys. I like what they do. I like what they're offering. I want to know more. And they will actually then book a demo or pick up the phone and call you, or, attend your event or whatever the case may be. So video becomes this really, really hard-working tool because it's selling your business 24/7. And because you're
Yep.
able to repurpose it and put it everywhere, it's so much more valuable to you than writing a blog, which is kind of, passive, and it's just sitting there. Your single video on your website, once someone's seen it, they've seen it and it's gone. So you might use an agency to create that, to give you the confidence that it looks really, really smooth, professional, and I'm going to get months or maybe even a year or two out of it before I need to update it. But it's the regular fresh communications, it's the customer testimonials, it's the case study videos, it's responding to something in the news that affects your industry, or it's the kind of sharing information, advice, showing the expertise of your team. All of those kind of videos you want to be able to create yourself, control it, repurpose it, and to do it in a way that you're proud of it, that it's still a high quality and it doesn't look, as you said, there's so much bad stuff out there. I mean, there's still no excuse for bad video. I'm
There's
not
no
arguing.
excuse for bad
No,
video. There's
no,
just
there's
no
no need
excuse.
anymore. There's absolutely no need. There's so many tools that you can use.
But that's so I like your breadcrumb analogy and creating the library. I mean, the library has to start now, because if you want a library in a year, you need to be releasing it over a year and you need to build it up over time. And so there are different aspects. When we talked a little bit before about proper preparation for a video,
Mhm.
there's a technical aspect to good video, which I feel like is available now if you know where to look. And then there's like a content creative side to making good video. How do you balance the two, and what are your thoughts on that?
hmm Yeah, you're dead right. I think there are two very different things going on there. So, from a technical point of view, the mobile phone in your hand, in your pocket, in your handbag has an amazing camera on it. 9 times out of 10, the cameras in smartphones these days are amazing. So, you've got a tool straight away. You don't need to go and invest in major equipment or anything like that. There are so many cheap or free training programs available. Even just YouTube, spend 2 hours one evening on YouTube looking at some of the great video tutorials that are up there. It's very simple things that can make your videos look more professional, and they are light and sound are the two key things. So if your video is too dark, it's rubbish. If I can't hear what you're saying, it's pointless. So getting those two things right alone will make your video much more watchable. They're very easy to get right. They're very easy to get
Mm-hmm.
wrong. It's true. But you don't need expensive lighting setups and studio, equipment in order to get it right. You need you need good natural lighting. You need to be cognizant of your setup. So, what's behind you, what's your location? If you're outdoors, is there wind? Is there dogs barking? Is there traffic? Do you need a little clip on mic? There are very, very simple and easy things you can do to improve the technical quality of what you're doing. Stabilize your footage. Filmmaking 101, stabilize your camera. You can buy a handheld stabilizer or a tripod for, really, really, we're talking a
For
small
cheap.
and here. Cheap, cheap. Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
yep, yep.
There's even loads of YouTube videos on how to make a homemade stabilizer, just hacks using coffee cups and toilet roll holders and all sorts of things. So there's no excuse for shaky, wobbly footage, audio that I can't hear in a dark room. I mean, I'm unforgiving. Forget about it. Um, but the second point then, how do you actually put a video together? How do you structure your content to make it interesting? And yeah, there is a skill to that. There is a learning curve for people. Absolutely. Again, YouTube and watching online videos are actually with a critical eye, with an analytical eye. That is your first port of call almost. Watch videos that you like, and actually take a step back, watch it 2 or 3 times, and then take a step back and go, okay, what did they do there? What did they do? How long was it? How quick? How many messages did they include? What did I start to see? Like, was there loads of text on the screen at the start, or did they start with a really arresting visual shot? And then they lead me into the story. And storytelling, I mean, I'm like a broken record talking about storytelling and authenticity. And
Yeah.
really, this is why people shouldn't be so afraid of video. I think there is this perception that they need to create this really glossy corporate promo type videos, and actually nobody likes those. Nobody engages with them. They're so boring and dry. I want to hear, if you have, let's say you have a car dealership, and well, what's the story there? Like, who set it up? How long have you been going? What are the highs and lows of your business? I don't need to see a deal of the day. I want to know, well, what's the aftercare service like? Or, for first time buyers, what kind of car should I be looking for? Or what kind of car home repairs or car maintenance that I can do myself? Like, share advice, share your story, share knowledge, rather than trying to do a hard sell. That's way more engaging.
So the next phase of this, because I've got like 7 questions coming into my mind about authenticity, how to actually differentiate. It's almost impossible to differentiate, but I feel like the authenticity aspect is going to be a part of it, but it also aligns with the future. So we got this question: as the digital world continues to evolve, what recommendations do you have for businesses who are looking to remain at the forefront of their industry? And what do you envision is the next step in the evolution of digital communication? And I feel like this kind of follows what you just talked about, but what are your thoughts on that?
Mm. There is no doubt about it that as the digital evolution, as you put it, is continuing to grow at pace. So now more than half of all internet traffic is done on mobile. 78% of all mobile content that's digested is video. So if you are reluctant to engage with video, you are excluding yourself from the conversation. There's no doubt about it. And this is true whether you're trying to target C-suite executives, millennials, any audience now. We are all gravitating. We're online on our mobiles and we're watching video content. And that is only continuing to gain ground. So if you're nervous about video, if you're kind of slow to engage with it because you feel it has to either be perfect or it's not happening, you are going to get left behind. There is no doubt about it. So first of all, I think be brave. And sometimes it requires a bit more bravery to be authentic than it does to be kind of glossy and corporate. I think actually people need to take a step and say, I'm just going to put myself out there. You know, warts and all. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to talk about my business genuinely, not, oh my God, it's so amazing. Everything is perfect. We're, blah, blah, blah. It's like something happens in the news. For example, things are reopening. And we see loads of hotels in the last couple of weeks, producing these videos that are, yay, it's great to be open again. And some of them are fine, but the ones that have actually resonated to me are the ones that talk about how much they have missed their guests, really looked forward to this. And you sense that passion that comes across from. And when you get that, that's gold, because I can then identify with that person. They've engaged me and made a difference to me, and I see passion and I see care. And that is so much more effective than a kind of a formal, dry, we will be reopened on such and such a date. It's about the personality of the team and the organization shine through. And sometimes that
I
takes
feel
that.
like everyone's their BS meter goes up. And I think with video, with the authenticity and actually seeing people, the Instagram reality, which isn't really reality, and then the very corporate, we don't like being sold to because we're being sold to everywhere. Is that really the differentiator for your business going forward? Is that just show the human side of your business in order to connect with people? Is that ultimately the real value of video?
I believe that. And you see it. You see it in the engagement. You see it in the. Did I disappear again?
I lost you and I got you back. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh no, we're having the audio problem again.
No.
Oh dear. Well, here, one second. Let me take you out again. And I'm going to bring you back in and we'll see.
Can you hear me now?
Did I lose you again?
Oh, can you hear my?
Tell you what, why don't you do this, Anna? Why don't you hop out
Okay.
and then hop back in, and I won't end the stream. And I'm going to keep people. If you leave, there we go, and then come back in. So we're going to have Anna come back in because I have one more question for her that's going to be really important. If you do have questions for Anna, pop them into the chat. Are we there?
Hi, can you hear me?
There we go. We're back. Ooh, that was quick and
Okay.
easy. That's what we should have done the last time. Perfect.
They all turn it off, turn it back on again.
Very good.
And trick.
So
check your order.
So the differentiator then, and staying at the forefront. So it's not necessarily being at the forefront of your industry. It's about keeping pace with your industry. And that's where like video is just going to help you keep pace. And then good video, authentic video will help keep you at the forefront of your industry. Is that really where your mindset is for the future of video and what to focus on going forward? Oh, we lost her. Hi.
Hi. I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me?
Am
I gone again?
Pop out again.
Oh,
it's
good.
the nasty weather in West Galway that's disrupting the internet, I think. Let's see. Here we go. You're back.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Beautiful.
So I think what's really where video is so strong and where people can really leverage it to their own advantage is by being authentic and showcasing what they're actually all about, what they care about, what they know, their knowledge, their expertise, and sharing that on camera, because that is distinctive. You know, I mean, the first thing you need to do is you need to be found, you need to be discovered. So if you don't have content out there, the search engines aren't going to pull it up in front of people who are doing searches. So the first thing you do is you have content so you can be discovered. And then you have content that is distinctive. And I don't mean it's all bells and whistles. I mean, you're sharing what's distinctive and unique and special and important about your business. And that's where you stand out, because no other business is just like yours. So if you're trying to be glossy and corporate and pro, you know, all that kind of stuff that looks just like every other video and every other website and every other, like, forget about it. I can't distinguish you from everybody else. Whereas being authentic and showcasing the people on the team, their love, their knowledge, their expertise, their backstory, what's the corporate culture like, that's unique to you. So if you can do that, if you can be brave enough to sort of say, we're going to put that out there and share that with the world, then straight away you are differentiating yourself and you're giving someone a reason to spend their money with you and not somebody else down the street.
Love it. Don't spend the money down the street. No. Why do that?
Yeah.
So personality and heartfelt, that's the name of the game. In order to be it. So that's what's next for social media and video. What's next for Video Sherpa? So we've talked about the industry. Let's talk about you folks and what's next for you.
So what's next for us is spreading our wings across the Atlantic. So we're actually going to be we have an office space that we're going to be coming to Chicago. From this summer, we're going to be based in 2112, which is it's a kind of co-working space, an accelerator in Chicago, specifically for kind of the creative industries and media tech companies. So that's really exciting. I've been to Chicago before and loved it, so I can't wait to get back over there. So yeah, we currently sort of have clients in lots of different industries. We work with SMEs, we work with higher education, we work with the hotel and tourism destinations. We work with manufacturing companies who produce training content for their staff and for international staff. So, you know, I run the risk of falling into that. Oh yeah, I'll create a video and sell it to everybody. And of course, I mean, I have to swallow my own medicine, and that does not work. And I know it doesn't work, because you know we've fallen foul of our own of that from time to time. So for us, it's really about trying to, I suppose, listen to our customers, understand exactly what they need from us. How can we better help them? So with Video Sherpa, it's not just software. We provide the training, and we provide training for every new client that signs up, so that they do feel confident about not just using it, but actually what kind of videos are going to work for them, how to create those videos easily, and we do brainstorming. We kind of do some ideation around content and help them to plan. um, and I really believe in that. I really feel that you need to kind of, and that's Video Sherpa. We're here to help people. It's such a fantastic communication tool, and we're just trying to help people to get out of their own way and get over their initial nerves and maybe fears around it, and actually get them using it and get it working for them as quickly as possible.
That's great. And I love the application of it. Is we've talked a lot about selling to people and reusing the content to sell, but from a training perspective and communicating to the people in your organization, there's a lot that could be reused that way too. So the application is pretty big. And even from a coaching perspective, I know we get a lot of coaches who listen to this. There's a lot for clients as well. So that's fantastic. I always end, and I didn't ask you this in the private part of the studio, to make a book recommendation. And I don't know if you're ready to make a book recommendation, but do you have a book recommendation for everybody? I'm a big reader. What book, something you've read or anything that you think would be good for everybody?
Well, I'm reading one at the moment that I'm really enjoying. Caveat, I haven't finished it, so unless it gets really bad towards the end, but so far so good. It's called The Storyteller's Secrets. It's by Carmen Gallo, or Carmine, maybe Gallo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just fascinated with communications on every front. I actually, like, personally, as well as the Video Sherpa business, I teach communication skills. I teach presenting skills. I do a lot of work with kind of social innovation companies, helping them to get used to presenting. And I just feel, being able to tell a story, being able to talk to people, being able to craft a message that's going to cut through the noise. It's a really important thing, and we all have to keep working on it. There's no sort of, oh, I know how to do it now. There's always something else that you can learn. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that book at the moment.
All right. Storyteller Secrets. I'm going to read it. And Caveat too. Why not? I'll read them both. It's very good. Well, Anna, thank you so much. For those looking for more info on Video Sherpa, here's the website, videosherpa.com. If you're in Chicago, go knock on their door when they're over there. Once they open that up and the world reopens. If you're in Galway, I know some of the people who were sending in messages are in Galway. So go knock on their door as well. And you're going to have a whole run of people, maybe. Who knows? But Anna, thank you so much. This is fantastic. The future of video. Video is the future. And I feel like we're going to look back in this in 10 years and just kind of laugh that we're just talking about video now. It's going to be pretty much everywhere. So thank you so much for your expertise. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, get more podcasts, Bellwether Hub podcasts on bellwetherhub.com. And I look forward to talking to everyone soon. Anna, thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.